All right, today is going to be a big day because we're going to experiment with note input and get started with that. I'm going to share an image of my keyboard while we go through this because a lot of what we're going to be doing is not clicking things on the screen, but using hotkeys and basically doing the vast majority of our input and editing using the keyboard. So I want you to be able to see what I'm doing with the computer keyboard. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by entering in D major scale for the treble clef. So I'm clicking the spot, the measure that I want to begin my note input, and then I'm going to hit the N button. The N button basically puts it in note input mode. So I can start entering in notes however I want. You just toggle the N button on and off. N when you want to be typing in some notes. And then when you're done typing in notes, let's say I'm all done now, I hit the N button and then I'm off of note input. Now, a couple things you'll notice. The letters on the keyboard correspond with the piano notes. So if I want to put an A on my score, I press an A B on my score, I press B, and C, and so forth. If I don't want to keep any of those, because I'm doing a D major scale, not an A minor one, I'm just doing, these will be slightly different with Mac. I should say that I'm using PC. But whatever your undo button is, you can quickly delete what you just inputted. So for Windows, it's Control Z is to delete what I've done. Okay, so now I'm going to start inputting the notes. So I want to start with a D because it's a D scale. I've got my first note, but it's really high. I don't think I want my D scale to start on such a high D. So here's a fun little trick. Control arrow on the note that you just entered keeps it as a D, but it just changes the octave. So I think middle C position, this is a really good octave to start in. So I'm going to start my note input here. So D, E. Oh, I have an F sharp, so that shouldn't be an F natural. How do I change it to a sharp? Well, there's a couple different ways I can do it. The way that I find the easiest is just use the arrow keys. You can do up arrow, and now all of a sudden it's a sharp. If I change my mind, I could go down. I could basically, by using the arrow, I could, any note that's selected blue, I can change the position of. So that's the easiest way, I think, of adding sharps and flats. Another way you could do it, we'll do it when we get to C. Okay, so we have a G, A, B, and now we can do a C sharp. So here I'm going to select the plus button and watch carefully in the top column where we have the different rhythms and we have the sharps and flats. You're going to notice I'm going to do a hotkey to make the sharp symbol get highlighted. I'm going to hold shift. Again, this might be a little different with Mac, but shift plus. And now look, my sharp button is highlighted from shift plus. So now I'm going to enter in a C, and it's going to be a C sharp. If you ever forget these hotkeys, just hovering over them will tell you what the hotkey is. So to toggle sharp, you need to enter the plus button, which you have to use shift plus or so forth, right? So then I'm going to finish the scale with a D, and now I'm going to go back down. Just entering in the notes one by one, and you can do this on your own time. I'm not worrying about any rhythm or any other formatting things at this point. Those will be for future videos. I just want to get my first set of notes inputted. So I've toggled my note input N off now that I've got this done. And what I'm going to do, I don't want to retype these all over again in the bass clef. So I'm just going to copy and paste. The way that I'm doing that is I'm basically highlighting shift and arrow to highlight the whole section that I just inputted, and then I'm going to hit the copy button, Control C on Windows, and I'm going to hit paste in the bass clef, Control V. And those are some crazy ledger lines. I'm not super excited about that, so I want to move this whole selected panel down an octave. Now you remember we hold down Control and the arrow button in whichever direction you want to move the octave. I want to move this down at least one octave. Yeah, that looks much better. So that's starting on D3. That'll be a lot more appropriate. Okay, so we've got all these extra measures now. My scale in the right hand and then the left hand didn't take up that much space. So now what I'm going to do is select what is equivalent to measure 9, and just going to hold shift button to highlight all of these measures, all the extra ones we don't need. And I'm going to right click. This is where I'm using my mouse. I'm sure there's a hotkey for this too. I'm just going to, let me select that all over again. I'm going to right click and then there's an option to, why are you doing that to me? There should be an option to delete measures. Yeah, I don't know why my mouse is being finicky and deselecting. There we go. Delete measures. Control delete. There, that's the hotkey, or control backspace. I'm gonna try that actually. I've never done that before. I'm just so in the habit of control backspace. Ooh, that's so simple. I love it. Okay, so now you'll notice we've deleted all the extra measures. It automatically gives us a double bar line to finish. The last thing that I want to do, actually 2 more steps, and then we'll pack it up for today. I want to go to the left palette column and find the button that says tempo. And I'm just going to drag in a tempo. It's just a quarter note 80. I'm dragging it into the to the first note. And this means that it's going to give us a specific speed. I think 80 is pretty slow. So I'm going to just change the numbers to 120. Now, I want to hear what this sounds like. Make sure that it sounds like a D major scale. So I'm going to hit the space bar. And that's just going to play it for me. Space bar is a stop and start button. Now I'm thinking, oh, that's kind of slow. So I hit the space bar again. Let's make it 150. And now let's hear this. Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to save it. We've already saved it and set up the saving process yesterday. So today it's just a matter of file save. You can do Control S again if you're a big hotkey fan. And we're going to pick it up and do some more work on this score tomorrow.